So when I was younger, I joined a site that I'd call my creative oasis, Wattpad. This is funny to think about in retrospect with Wattpad's reputation nowadays, and it being one of those memories that you wish to throw away into the abyss, including me. Until today. So let's unpack while I draw my first ever OC, Luna Heartfilia. That name also makes me cringe. I was in middle school and had gotten into creative writing. I would write and jot them down all over my notebooks, starting from the back or whatever notebook I had, as it often meant I went through one of my school notebooks. Whoops, my bad. I apologize to my math and science teachers the most. But I also kept showing them to classmates I felt comfortable with, gaining their trust and friendship and quickly throwing my stories and concepts at them. And that's when someone brought up a website called Wattpad. How I could post my stories for other people to read, and little old me got excited by this prospect. And so I made an account, all under the name Shining Star Fangirl. At this current moment in time, I do not have access to those accounts, especially the YouTube channel connected to it. But I wanted to say the name for you to understand the amount of cringe I was and still kinda am. It hurts in my soul, but it was cute. And the first thing I did on that website was get into shipping culture. It ended up becoming a big part of my personality to this day. I just loved love stories, or seeing the potential love stories between two characters I thought had chemistry. But the ones I was most adamant about were characters that weren't exactly canon, but I felt strongly about. A lot of semi-canon stuff, but I also was really into Jelsa, for an example. Which, oh, you could really tell my personality with that. But yeah, my first fanfics that I ever interacted or read were a lot of shipping fanfics. It was a very weird parasocial relationship. I really thought I was friends with them, but no, we were just strangers at the end of the day. But it did get attention for some people to read my books. Or the very few books that I had on my account. It turns out, I'm my own worst critic. So much so that I never finished my books and most of them deleted them. I ended up having problems where I had a cool concept and a cool beginning and end, but no actual middle. No real trials or substance in my stories, resulting in me losing interest in scrapping the story. Which is a shame because I had some fun ideas. One of them was a superhero with star powers, where it ended in an act of bravery to defeat evil once and for all, grabbing their villain and flying so out of orbit to cause a supernova and complete their little superhero journey and story. It would have been bittersweet, where the superhero would have dealt with self-worth issues, and as they made their final sacrifice, they finally felt content and fine, knowing that they did what they can and that at the end of the day they are a good person to themselves, and they should never doubt that. All in a story that I called Supernova. I had a couple other stories, but maybe one day I'll come back to them because I know that 13-year-old me was up to something. But now, we head to the big part of my Wattpad journey. And honestly, the most important part. Because what made me stuck around wasn't just the fanfics and original stories, but also the roleplay forums hosted on the website. This honestly sparked my love of roleplaying and what got me down the line for Minecraft roleplay content and D&D and TTRPGs in general. I would not be the person who I was today without these forums. Of course, there will always be hit or misses. It's hard to get the courage to join and interrupt an already existing convo and making an outstanding presence. It's so scary to join and reply to someone who just started a chain, as the anxiety of just RPing in a one-on-one scenario is just terrifying. my anxiety raising through the roof like I never saw it before. Until one finally clicked. And this is where I found my first set of online friends. I had joined a fairy tale RP, as in Fairy Tale the anime. My OC was actually the girl I'm drawing right now, Luna Heartfilia. She was a celestial dragon slayer with blonde hair and blue eyes, and the sister of Lucy Heartfilia. Now, any hardcore fairy tale fan would tell me that that doesn't work for the lore. Like, the ages for the dragon slayers, or at least first and third generation dragon slayers, are 400 years old. Lucy is just a regular human girl. How can they be sisters? And all I have to say was that was before that lore drop happened. So I didn't know that, and I wanted the celestial part and I wanted the dragon slayer part because I had motion sickness and I wanted to relate to all the dragon slayers with all the motion sickness. So it was not about the cool powers. It was purely because of motion sickness, and I find that hilarious. And with the previous information I talked about for shipping, I also joined with another OC to play as Luna's potential lover. But that left me bored, as that left me to just RP by myself with no one to interact with me. Like, what's the point of RP if I'm just RPing by myself? So, I decided to kill him, just so I don't have to worry about him anymore. But I didn't want to hog all the attention like I did with their conversations. So, I looked at the list of people and chose someone, we're gonna call them May, to kill him for me. Which she did, so yay! He was dead, and May and I actually ended up hanging out and RPing with each other and just casually talking. Some of her friends would join in, and soon enough I found myself in a little RP group. We even moved our group to Kick so we could RP and also just talk casually as friends. This was before Discord, and I don't think any of us wanted to try Skype, so Kick was our option for baby us days. But it was good to be around them and just get to know them, because I finally felt like I had some sort of friends or some sort of friend group. Any friend I made before, I kind of felt like an outcast, but I felt like I fit in. And that was a nice feeling. And now, we get to one final story of my Wattpad days. It's a story I don't talk about often, but it's something that I think about to myself a lot. There was this guy named Nicholas. We'll call him Nicholas. And we first interacted with my own fairy tale RP forum, and in my ship chapter actually, because I didn't want shipping wars to happen between role players, so I made a forum to converse and ask for consent for shipping reasons. And Nicholas asked if he could romance my OC Luna. And with me and my big shipping heart, I jumped at the opportunity. Of course, there were some cringy moments, them being lovey-dovey, and adding a ex-fiance type of character to try to pull her away. It's the good old cringy romance trope fanfics. And things just strengthened as we were in the same friend group circle. So much so that I started actually having feelings for Nicholas and the person behind Nicholas. This was actually the first time I ever fell in love. I immediately started talking myself down. He was someone I met online. We might be similar ages, but what if he was lying? He didn't show many pictures of his face, so can I trust that he truly was the Nicholas I had grown to love? And even so, we were on opposite ends of the country. I was at the West Coast, while he was on the East Coast. could a long distance really work? And at the end of the day, I was still young and never dealt with romance before this even happened. I didn't even know I could get crushes until I met him. Of course, I told people in our friend group, and they would tease and even ship the two of us IRL, which could be weird, but we were young and they had good intentions. But I was too scared to confess because I didn't think I could handle a long distance relationship as my first romance. And that was scary. Months down the line, I had my first actual boyfriend. And it wasn't Nicholas, but a guy I met at school. And I told my online friends immediately, them congratulating me and being very happy for me. Except one person in particular, Nicholas. And with so much solemnness in his heart, he told me he had a crush on me. And boy, did that hurt. I missed my chance to be with him, and that hurts a lot to hear. In any other situation, you might have think this is guilt trippy or manipulative. He should have said it when I had just gotten into a new relationship. But I knew he didn't mean it in that way. He was hurt and bummed, but knew there was nothing that could be done unless I broke up with my boyfriend and just to be with him. And I still stuck to my boyfriend because I wanted to give him a chance. I do still regret that I didn't even try to ask him out. That he really was the one who got away. But it happens. That it is natural to fall in love, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. A few months after that, I would end up leaving my friend group. More so because of life events and the fact I had my phone stolen, so I couldn't talk to them as often. I just ended up slowly drifting away. We did reconnect a few years later, but it wasn't the same. Even with Nicholas. My feelings died out at the end, and all my friendships were just not the same as before. We had all changed and grown up in our own ways, and that's fine. And I still hope they're all doing well out there. I think at the end of the day, despite all the cringe and the pain that I went through, I'm so glad for my younger Wattpad days. I wouldn't be who I am today without it. It really was the first step into finding out who Kara was. And that's why I'm telling you this today. I hope you enjoyed that little story time about my Wattpad days. And maybe you also related to that. Even if it wasn't through Wattpad, it was through stuff like Roblox or Discord or something that you felt like was cringy to look back on. But at the end of the day, you wouldn't want to change for the world. And if you like stuff like this, be sure to subscribe, as I plan to do more story times like this. I also plan to do live streams on Wednesdays at 10 PST. I think that's 1 EST for time-wise. It will be at the bottom. I will be doing stuff like art or playing games like Minecraft or visual novels. We'll see how it goes. I am new to this YouTuber thing. But until the next video, I will see you all next time.